Hi guys, in this video we're going to paint this cute little fox. Get your paint out on your plate. We have 5 colors for this one. Black, red, yellow, blue, and white. I like to use a butter knife to scoop them out of my little tubs. Get a little scoop to scrape it off, and then you can easily just wipe it on a paper towel. Your butter knife, that is. And then it's nice and clean to go into the next tub. That way you're not mixing colors into these, and you keep them nice and clean. Sure you're always snapping the lids back on nice and tight. That way they don't dry out on you. These been working out of these tubs for about a month now, and they're still looking good. So no issues getting dried out. I'm gonna go ahead and start with my background. This top area is gonna be blue. This bottom area is going to be yellow. I will be mixing white in, and I'm also going to be using a Sharpie before I get started, just to outline. Let's do this butterfly. And this is just so we can paint over it and not worry about having lost our shape or where it belongs on the canvas. I'm gonna do all these circles as well. These will be flowers. And I do recommend using Sharpie brand permanent black marker. I can say without doubt that this works. I don't know about other brands, other colors. I know that I've used a red Sharpie before and it bled everywhere. I don't have that same problem using the black. Always works for me. So there we have that. Go ahead and do his little legs in here as well. And maybe this little zigzag. The rest we shouldn't have any problems painting over and being able to see our line. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the sky first. And I'm going to use this small, kind of medium-sized brush. I'm going to make a nice light blue. Take some of my white and just add a little bit of blue. It's a very strong color. It doesn't take much blue at all. And I'm not going to mix it solid. I'm going to leave it kind of streaky. That way when I put it on my canvas, it's not just one flat shade of blue. It's kind of streaky. And while I work, I will also be adding some white into it as well. So I'm just going to go straight up and down, right through everything that I just Sharpied over. I can see it without any problem. And while that's still nice and wet, I'm just going to pick up some white on my dirty brush and streak it through. You don't need to over blend. I'm going to leave it looking streaky. Maybe a little bit more blue. You do need to be careful around your fox. You don't want him painted blue. Pick up a little bit more white. Going through and getting this whole sky filled in. A little bit more white. So now I'm trying to keep my brush strokes kind of up and down. These flowers, some more white. However much blue or as much white as you want. It's up to you, it's your painting. So now I've got my sky all filled in. Maybe add a little bit more white here and there, just to help it be a little extra streaky. There. I'm gonna clean out my brush. I'm not gonna worry about it being perfect, because down here where this grass line starts, I do want to kind of blend the yellow and the blue together. So it's okay if there's a little blue still on my brush. I'm gonna start by using white, and I'm gonna get the white kind of overlapped onto my blue that I just painted. I'm gonna do it on both sides. And it's uneven. I done it, it's not like a nice straight line. I'm just kind of leaving it like rough, jagged edge. So I've got my white on there. And I'm just gonna dip my brush in a little bit of yellow and rub that right into the white that I've overlapped and up into the blue. So you see I have like a straight edge here where my blue kind of ended. I'll take a little bit of blue on my brush. Didn't take a lot, and I didn't clean it. And I'm just gonna kind of loosely put that blue in and blend it up into the sky. So I got this nice soft edge where the yellow and the blue kind of meet. I'm gonna do the same over here. Let's start with my yellow. Push it up into where I put that white on to overlap. And I do have a little bit of a line here where I can see where I stopped with the blue. Just gonna take just the tiniest bit of blue on my brush and just kind of work that in to kind of make that edge less perfect, less even. So it kind of blends the two colors together without having a sharp line. Excuse me. So now I'm going to clean out my brush, and then the remainder of this bottom spot I'm going to fill in with pretty much just yellow, a little bit of white, and maybe smear in a little blue as well. So get my yellow. It's super bright. Grab a little bit of white. Just soften it up by just adding a little white in. Same over here, just start with some yellow. Grab a little bit of white. And just spread it all out. Get it all blended. Get rid of all your globs. And then I'll take a little bit of my blue here and there and add in, so just tiny bit, I don't know if you can see. I'm just getting just the tiniest little bit of my light blue. And maybe under here, just kind of blend a little bit of that in. And I just work it till it kind of turns green. It's so little on my brush. Maybe we can put a little in over here. Just so I have some like little green areas. Got a little bit more white there. And add a little bit more blue in here. Maybe bring it down some. This is all up to you how you want yours to look. I just think it needs a little bit more in this little spot. And bring it down. And my paint is pretty wet still, so it is blending nice. If yours doesn't want to blend, you can just take a little bit more white, just a smidge more of your blue. Like this side is a little more dry. It doesn't want to blend as well. Right, so while the background is drying, we'll work on some other areas. Let's get our fox painted. We're gonna make, so it's gonna be a very, very red-orange color. So to make that color, it's going to be yellow and red, but not that much yellow compared to red. So I'm gonna take some yellow, start over here with quite a bit of red. So you can see, I don't know how well you can actually see on camera, but once you start adding that yellow in, it does get this nice bright kind of fiery red. It's more orangey than red. So when I put white into it, it's not gonna turn pink. It'll be more of like a corally orange color. So I'm gonna just take a little scoop of white and stir that in. You can see that it's not pink, it's more on the orange side of things. And this is the color of our fox. And just start in on his body. You don't want to paint the tip of his tail, you're gonna leave that alone. You may need to switch to a smaller brush for the smaller little areas. I just have a bad brush, so mine doesn't want to work that well. I'm getting into those spots because it's all bushy. So I'll just get my big areas to start, and then I'm going to go back in with my smaller brush and get my lines nice and clean and even. So I'm going to leave these areas, let me turn it so you can see better, these areas alone, and just paint his head and his ears. And with Lou's ears, I'm just gonna get the base part done, and I'll go in with my smaller brush to get my edges looking better. And I'm gonna do his tail. Oh, so this whole bit can be. Try not to get up into the tip because that's gonna be left white. Switching brushes, got a little bit here, gotta wipe that off, because this is going to be white. Take a little damp towel, try to wipe it off. So I'm just gonna go back in and kind of clean up my edges. My bigger brush wasn't working so good. I'm just taking my time, getting my edges nice and even, trying to get the paint spread out as best I can. I don't want big globs. So there, that looks pretty good. Next, I'm just going to clean out my brush, and I'm going to do the white areas. You may want to make sure your edges are dry around the white areas, because you don't want to pull in that wet orangey colored paint. I'm just going to use the same small brush because I have a lot of small areas. I don't want to fight with my other one. I'm just going to get this little area. It's okay to overlap. That helps smooth out your edge. If you paint over the eye, that's fine. The pencil most likely will show through without any issues, just so long as your paint is spread out nice and thin. If you have big old globs, can't guarantee you'll be able to see your pencil lines. Do this little chest. And I'll do the tip of his tail. All right. So I'm gonna switch back to my medium-sized brush, and I'm gonna get some white painted on my butterfly, and I'm just gonna swirl in some white on all these circles that are going to be flowers. So I'll start with my butterfly and get that done first. Just get a base coat of white put on. And I am going on top of that black Sharpie, trying to get it covered up. This will get a black outline later, so it's not that big of a deal if you miss a little bit. But in general rule, we always try to get our pencil and our Sharpies covered up. So a little bit more white paint on my brush. I'm just gonna start in the center. Just gonna spiral around. They don't need to be perfect. We're just getting kind of a base coat on there. A little bit bigger. Fabulous. So while this is drying, I'm going to, well, I might as well just blow it all dry. I want this nice and dry. I want to do some black on, like outlining on my fox. And then we're going to add some pretty colors into the flowers. So I'm going to start by just doing the eyes on the fox and his little arms. I'm going to get them so that they look like they have black fur coming up. And the little nose. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Let's do that before we do everything else. A little bit of white on my brush. So forget the black. We're going to white. I want to just put some small triangles inside of his ears. Okay, now we can do the black. I do the eyes and the nose and his little arms. Same little brush. A little bit of black paint. Don't need a lot because it's just a tiny little circle. Same with his little nose. And then on the arms, I'm going to get them filled in all the way to the bottom. Covering the Sharpie line. And I'm just going to kind of make it a little bit jagged. So get the line covered. And then at the top, you just kind of back and forth so that it's uneven. So it looks like little fur growing up. I'm going to do another coat of white on the ears. A little bit of white paint. So that they're brighter, so they're more like the white on the rest of his body. Right now a lot of that orangey color is kind of showing through. And I just want another little layer of the white to kind of block it out. Much better. Alright, so our little flowers are dry enough to start adding some color to. I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna make some pink. So a nice scoop of white, a little bit of red, stir that in. A little bit more red. And I'm gonna make a lighter shade of yellow. Just have a nice scoop of white over here. Just stir some yellow in. Doesn't take a lot. So using the yellow, the pink, and some of this light blue that we used for the sky, I'm just gonna start kind of swirling in these colors. Now it's important that you don't overmix. So I'll show you one. I'm gonna just go ahead, well, one color. I'll start with one color. I'm gonna start with my pink. I'm just gonna kind of swoop in. So it's got some pink on it. I'm gonna do that to all my flowers. So they all have a little bit of the pink. And it's not perfect. It's streaky. I got lots of room left with the white where I can put in some more colors. I can add some yellow and some blue. I'm just gonna get all my pink on first. Clean out my brush. Add some yellow in. So I'll kind of focus where I don't have any paint on there yet. And it's okay if they overlap some and kind of blend in together. I just don't want to cover all of it, and I don't want it all to mush together and make one like completely different color. So I can still see pink and I can see yellow. So if I just kept blending and blending and blending, I would have like a light orange color, because yellow and the pink is gonna make orange if it's red and yellow. Next I'll add in a little bit of blue. So I have this light blue already. I'm just gonna make it a little bit darker, just by adding a little bit more blue into just a little area of it. I'm just gonna add little bits of blue in. blend it because all your colors, you want to be able to see each individual color that you've put on. If you keep squishing it around, they're all going to blend together and make one big frumpy color. So we're going to let that dry a little bit. While we're letting it dry, we're going to paint our butterfly, our light yellow. So I've got this light yellow. Just go ahead and get your butterfly painted. And you can do a different color. If you want him pink, make him pink. If you want him blue, make him blue. Just make sure that the blue is a darker blue or a lighter blue than the blue of your sky. Otherwise, it's not going to show up. So I would recommend probably a darker blue. Let that dry. I'm gonna also add in some leaves here and there. I'm gonna use a little bit darker blue. Maybe just a touch of yellow. I want it to still look blue, but just like a little hint of green. That's what the yellow does. So maybe we can put a leaf in here. That would be off of this one, maybe one on the other side. Over here, we could put a few little leaves in. Stem them. So this one's got a stem. Stem. Now I'm just going to take a little bit of white, just kind of tone down the color on my flowers. Just using a little bit of white on my smaller brush. I just kind of put it on and kind of dab it off. I'm just going to kind of swoop in some white right on top. It is important that this is mostly dry, otherwise you're just going to blend and smudge all your colors. Butterfly is dry enough. Yep, I'm going to take a little bit of my light pink. And in the wings, I'm going to add little circles. I'm just using my light pink, my pink color. And put a circle in this. The bigger part has bigger circles. And then the little wings underneath are smaller. So they'll have a smaller circle. And then we can do a bunch of outlining and creating like petals on our flowers and bringing them to life a little bit more. So I'm gonna use my blow dryer to just give this a once over so it's nice and dry. I don't have to worry about like leaning my arm on wet paint. I'm safe. If you don't have a blow dryer, just give your painting, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes to sit and dry. If you've got big, thick, gloppy paint somewhere, you may need more time. You can just go work on something else, go watch a TV show for a little bit, come back and turn me back on and I'll show you what the outlining entails. so just using my long skinny brush. And you know what? I think I want my square brush. I'm gonna use my little square brush, not my medium or my big one, but the smaller one. Just some black paint. I will thin it, and to do that I just dip my brush in water, and then just those few little drips of water I just stir into a little area of my black paint. Make sure I get it mixed in well. And that just thins out the paint, and just the flow of it, it just goes on smoother and easier, and you don't have to go back as often to get more paint. You get a nice smoother line. So I'm gonna start with my butterfly. Just gonna give him a little body. And come around an edge. And there's some antenna, just a couple little stickies coming up. Let's do his ears. I'm doing the ins and outs. Come down his head. I'm using the skinny edge of my brush, so it's kind of on its side. It helps do a thinner line. I'm gonna go around the white spots on his face. Down his body. So his little body kind of ends there, and then the tail starts. Oh, there's Jossie. She thinks she needs out. She's gonna wait a minute. Go around the belly. And then on the tail, I'm going to do this zigzag. Make sure I get all my Sharpie covered as best I can. Now we can go in and do all our flowers. So I'm going to start by just putting like circles in the middle. Some bigger than others, not necessarily center. Then I'm going to do circles around the outside of the big circles. So I've just been doing circles, big circles, little circles. And I just move my canvas around while I paint because it's easier for me to have like a spot to rest my hand that I know is dry. And I'm right-handed, so it just works better for my brain. Now we're gonna add some petals onto some of them, not all. Let's go ahead with this one here. Just add some loops. And I'll just stop when I come to the flower. Run off the edge. And I can add some loops over here. And let's go down our stem and outline our leaf. Let's put big loops on this one. And this one. Let's get our leaves first and then do our loops. And on this one. So we left quite a few alone. We just have the big loops on. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. And I think that's it. I think we're done. I think this is a really cute one. Oh, maybe we could add a little bit of white. I feel like a little bit of white on those leaves would be kind of cute. And if you wanted to brighten up some of your colors on your flowers, you can. Maybe your white took away too much when we put white on top. I'm just gonna flick these with a little bit of white paint. So maybe you want a little bit more pink in one. Maybe get some pink going. You can add some pinks back in. You could do the same with blue or yellow. Just to kind of brighten up some spots again. It's up to you, however you want to do it. Maybe I'll add a little bit more yellow. Maybe just a little here and there. So just however you want to do them. And that's it. I'm going to go ahead and sign my name, maybe with a light blue down here in this corner. And done. Hope you enjoyed painting this cute fox with me. If you want to share your work, I love seeing it. On my Facebook page, it's like @PaintWilly-Nilly. You can post right to my wall or send me a private message, whatever you prefer. Yeah, thanks for painting with me, and I'll see you in another video.